Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, peeplings. Hope you're all having a good day. This is a bizarre day. In all these years, I have never seen so many articles come out about Harry and Meghan. It started last night. I was up till late. It started with Tom Sykes, followed up by People, then Radar, and then Abetting. This is too weird for words. If any of these are to be believed, and I do believe some and I have my doubts about others, which I'll come to, then basically Harry and Meghan lied, shocker, about why the photographs were deleted. Shocker. Did I not say yesterday? It's absolute bollocks. 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 In fact, there's another, I've got them all lined up on here. There was another one about Harry and Meghan in the Daily Mail. This is like my last go-to place. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Yeah. Which actually proves that they lied. If that theory, that ridiculous theory about, the Kardashians didn't pay for photographs. Oh yeah, there was something else I was going to talk about as well. We'll deal with that first. I heard somewhere yesterday, and I forget where because I watched so many videos, I read so many articles. It was raining all day long, so work was cried off, and so somebody said that I think the Kardashians are about to release a series, but they are already filming either for that one or another one, and that part of what they're filming would have been Kris Jenner's birthday party. Now, I've only seen a couple of these Kardashian shows, but the bits I've seen have kind of been Kris in her kitchen with her daughters, kind of gossiping, oh, you'll never guess who said what to me. And I have a theory. So I'll go through the stories first, and then we'll go through a timeline of events, like the police do, because it's easy to get muddled up where there's no facts. So let's go at the end, but once we've done the articles, we'll go through the timeline of events. I know this is world breaking, isn't it? This is fixing world peace and hunger. This is not. But on my tea break, for those people, there are one or two who comment and say, can't you put your time to better uses? I suppose they're Harry and Meghan fans. Well, it's my tea break. I'm actually going to go and buy some milk. I've run out of milk for tea. Oh my God, I haven't been up long and I've only had one cup of tea. So on my tea break, I look for magazine-y type stories. I don't on my tea break sit down and get calculus out and try working out world hunger. I know that makes me a bad person. Okay, I'm a bad person. I just want a bit of frivolity and gossip. And this Kardashian mystery gets curiouser and curiouser, doesn't it? Let's start with Tom Sykes. Now, before I read out, I subscribed to Tom Sykes' Substack thing, and I haven't got a clue what Substack is. And I kind of wish I never had, and I'm kind of glad I did. Nothing to do with Tom. It's just I don't understand it. I get these emails. I get a lot of emails every day, and then it says there's a button, and it says if you want to read more, pay and I don't want to pay and subscribe, and I don't know how to unsubscribe. I've looked, but I am glad I didn't manage to unsubscribe, because I know a lot of people think Tom is a sugar. I don't. I think Tom is someone who is very, very interested in the royal family. I think he has a very different point of view on a lot of subjects to me, and maybe to a lot of you guys as well. But I mean, that's freedom of speech, isn't it? We can't have it all our own way, can we? We can't have everybody having a go at Meghan and Harry all of the time and nobody ever putting another point of view across, or with Andrew, only one side, etc. If you see what I mean. And actually, I think Tom's kind of sweet and charming as a person, I often think to myself, would I mind, how would I go and have a beer with this person? And yeah, I think he'd be highly entertaining, actually. I did leave him a comment at one point saying, would he like to do a live? But my comment disappeared. But that I don't know that he deleted it, because that happens a lot to my comments. They disappear. They just disappear. Trolls always seem to find them. Maybe I should ask the trolls. They seem to keep an archive of everything I say. Right, so it started with this. Now, Tom, the day before, had said, you know, he had been informed by reliable sources in Camp Sussex that it was at their request that the photos be taken down because they didn't sign a release form. So then I get this, and I can only see part of it, but it's enough. So I get this last night, and it says, his headline is, "Fibbing Harry and Meghan ruthlessly schooled by the Kardashians over phantom consent form." Harry and Meghan lie, Tom? As if they wouldn't. Surely not. Didn't Harry get caught out sending an email once? I mean, never mind all the Epstein emails, but the email with Harry where he said, "We must be able to deny this at a later date," when he was referring to having assisted Omid Scobie to write Finding Freedom. We must be able to deny this at a later date. A storm over a deleted party photo offers an insight into Harry and Meghan's sad, fake, hyper-managed world and shows just how badly they are playing the game. Now, this is written by Tom, so do you see what I mean? He's not a sugar. He's not a sugar. He's got a different point of view. There are some things I do agree with him about. He has some theories about Diana that I do. He has questions, and I saw him on Lady C, and he seems to have the same questions I've got. So I find that quite interesting. But when it comes to Harry and Meghan, generally speaking, he's seemed to lean Harry Meghan camp. But I mean, the wording of that, no sugar would ever write that, my friends. Harry and Meghan's sad, fake, hyper-managed world just shows how badly they're playing the game. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stand accused of having lied about why images of them were removed from the Instagram accounts of Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. Sources close to the Sussexes previously told The Royalist, and that's what he's called. He's got a YouTube channel as well, guys, so I mean, you can check him out on YouTube. You don't have to do the Substack thing, but I mean, for what it's worth, whatever the hell this Substack thing is, he's got one, okay? But he's on YouTube as well. I'll be interested to see his next video on this subject. Probably should have checked that before starting this one, but there's so much has come out. So it was sources close to the Sussex that previously told The Royalist that the couple were issued consent forms before arriving at Kris Jenner's birthday party, and they ticked the no box when asked whether to agree to their photos appearing on social media. However, Kardashian side sources flatly told The Royalist this evening of the oddly specific claim, quote, "There were no consent forms." Oh, shocker. Shocker. It turns out it was absolute, utter, complete bollocks from start to finish. Yeah, I kind of thought so. The very thought that Markle would want her photograph deleted from anywhere, anytime, anyway. Oh, go away, fly. It's because it's raining, you see. They come in. That's bollocks. And then photograph with one of the most famous women in the world, Kim Kardashian, and her mother. Now, bollocks, 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 bollocks. I can't say it enough. I can't believe anybody fell for it. And I see some people have fallen for it. I've been all around the internet. Last night, I went down a right wormhole, and I see lots of people running with this narrative and believing it, which is kind of shocking. And I think more is going to come and unfold. When we went back to the Sussex camp, so this is Tom still, for clarification, the once chatty source abruptly clammed up. The shutters came down. There would be no further comment on this ridiculous story. Isn't that interesting? So Tom Sykes has called them out. He's called their camp out as liars, and he said the Kardashians are fighting back. I think Meghan has met more than her match on this front. So that's Tom Sykes. Tick off my list. Let's go to People magazine. And where have I put my... Oh, there's my glasses. People magazine last night. Now remember, they were the first ones who said Do you know, there's been so many articles in Five Friends magazine the last few days, I can't remember. But there was, they'd done a piece about how Meghan and Harry had gone to the party. It was something they didn't like. I can't remember what it was, but I said to you guys, I bet she'll be screaming down the telephone, hey presto, up pops a story in Five Friends magazine. But what Five Friends magazine, otherwise known as People magazine, also promote are the Kardashians. And when they're looking at their client list for puff pieces, I guess the Kardashians are going to win hands down every time with Five Friends magazine. I bet they don't have any outstanding invoices. So, Five Friends prints. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry were never asked to sign photo consent forms at Kris Jenner's birthday party. Exclusive source. Well, I mean, I found this. This one says 12:40 p.m. EST. I suppose EST, would that be Eastern time? And Tom Sykes was 12:50, and what was it, 12:40. So it looks like Tom was told 10 minutes after People. Despite reports claiming the duo hadn't signed a photo consent at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party, a source tells People exclusively it's untrue. Quote, there were no forms. Let me double check Tom's quote. Exactly the same quote. There were no, oh no, not exactly. There were no consent forms, is Tom's quote. People. I've lost the fucking quote now. Where's it gone? Is it the whole article's just changed? It's like it's skipped and updated itself. But it's a close. The reason I'm interested in quotes is, as you know, my mum was a politician. And she used to say, whenever the press phone you up and you say something to them, they will quote you verbatim. She always said that to me. So she said, if ever you speak to the press, be very careful how you word something, because things can sound different said verbally to written. And she said they do. They will quote you down to the comma. So that's why I'm interested in the comparison. But what happened to the photos of them? On November the 9th, fans noticed that Meghan and Harry had been removed from a carousel of photos posted to Jenner and Kardashian's Instagram. People understood that the photos were deleted because the duo had checked no on a photo consent form. Oh, I found the quote. However, a source close to the event now tells People that isn't the case. There were no consent forms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. There were no consent forms. Identical quote that Tom's quoted. There were no consent forms. So, Tom's source is solid, in my opinion. People, in this case, their source is solid. I mean, I know it's a little thing, but I don't actually doubt. I think Tom does know people who... He was thrown out the Royal Rota, apparently, for not playing ball or something like that. I don't know the whole story. But the fact that the two, within 10 minutes of each other, down here in Spain, you know, just as I'm about to go to bed, boom, boom, like a shotgun, Kris Jenner, like a shotgun, double barrel. People has reached out to a spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sausages for comment. Meghan and Harry attended the lavish thing, blah, 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 the mansion, naming a load of celebrities. Meghan looked stunning, just like a Bond girl, Bond granny. Oh, one of you, I can't remember who, said she might play Miss Funny Fanny. Yes, I think so. Jenner's social media post about the magical event included a photo where she posed with Harry and Meghan, blah, blah, blah. Now, on the 11th of December, the Duchess of Sausages, who recently announced the date for her upcoming Netflix holiday special. Oh yeah, but have Netflix actually advertised that holiday special? Have they actually advertised it? I mean, I don't know. I don't sign up to Netflix anymore. Let me check YouTube quickly, if you'll bear with me. With Love, Meghan special releases on. Oh no, stop with the music. No, that's not Netflix. It just seems to be a still of a photograph. No, that's not a trailer, that's not an advert. I mean, I would have thought, let me look for Netflix. Netflix have got a channel on YouTube. Excuse me while I get petty. Netflix, right, Netflix. And I want to know trailers. And well, I'm not, off the bat, I'm not seeing a Meghan Christmas special trailer. Netflix trailer, Meghan Markle, holiday special. Nope. So far, no. And I think that it would be on YouTube because they have a YouTube channel, so. Meghan's advertised it, but it doesn't appear Netflix has. Right, where are we up to? Do you know what? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if by the end of this week, her part starring herself in this film, which is apparently one of Bezos's studios. I wouldn't mind betting that she's going to be cancelled, fired, flipped. I think she's about to be cancelled all over Hollywood over this. This is big doodah. She's shit in a big backyard here and pissed a couple of tigresses off. That's what I think. Right, where are we up to? Oh yeah, people. On November the 11th, the Duchess, who announced her trailer, shared a message on her Instagram honouring her veteran husband. So, yeah, recollections may vary. This is a regular commenter on People, Delulu me. As usual, or should I say as ever, the articles about these two are the same mix: shallow, overhyped, toxic, or scandal chasing. And of course, there's always constant drama around the shifting narratives and their ever-changing public personas. It's exhausting, and people are starting to see through it. Yeah, there's a lot of comments on this. Doins, I don't believe this story. I think the K saw the backlash about the grifters and decided themselves to delete it. Yacht Girl doesn't care about invites. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Kardashians would delete it through fear of backlash because, I mean, they've each got like 50 million followers and they will be very savvy. They will be very painfully aware of everybody's public image, not only their own, especially when composing a guest list. That it will not have been their first choice to invite Meghan and Harry, which brings me to my question at the very beginning of this week, which was, how did a ZZ list like her bag an invite to something like this? And I'll wager she will never, not that she was likely to in the first place, but however she got this, blackmail, WME, you know, screaming tantrums, she will never, ever be invited anywhere ever again. I mean, this has turned into a shitstorm. Kardashians, I believe, reluctantly allowed her to go to the party, and here we are. And I also see people saying, you know, it could be for hype. It could be, because if they're in the process, they're probably constantly in the process of filming things. Then if they're going to have a little chat over the kitchen table, it would be kind of delicious, and it would probably make them even more popular if they said, oh, you know, did you hear what happened at the birthday party with that Meghan girl? Did you hear what she did? Because I personally believe there was an incident at that birthday party, which I will come to when we do the timeline. You know, we're going to be police officers today, not lawyers. We're going to be police officers. So that's People have clearly had the same source contact them that contacted Tom Sykes, clearly from the Kardashian team. There was no consent form. Identical quotes. Okay, so then this gets super weird. Well, at this point last night, I've read those two articles and I'm thinking, well, let's do the timeline now, because I'm going to come to the bombshell at the end of this. And it is a bombshell, and I do believe this. The timeline. Now, I can't remember the dates, so let's not be too picky like police officers are. You know, they're so fussy about details like that. But firstly, there was a party, yeah? That's indisputable. Secondly, Meghan and Harry were definitely there. I don't believe they gate crashed. You can't gate crash Jeff Bezos' mansion. No. They were invited. They were there. They did have their photographs taken. They posed for photographs with both Chris and Kim. So they knew they were having their picture taken. They were happy about it. She had a face like a Cheshire cat, and it wasn't her usual Richter's grin. Meghan was genuinely happy to be there, to be photographed with Kim. Oh yeah, all this bollocks about the Daily Mail thing, that she doesn't just let any old Tom, Dick and Harry release a photo. Well, in the Daily Mail today, there's an article that someone has released a photo. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle posed with celebrity psychic and sent her a quasi-royal letter with the Duchess Royal cipher before hinting at an upcoming trip. Astrologer Angela Pearl shared photographs to her Instagram this week with the Sussexes. Now, and then they've got a picture, this Angela Pearl, psychic. I mean, has she paid them to share that picture? I don't think so. What about all these other people? That's normally how Meghan gets stuff out there. She has her picture taken with people, and then they share it on their Instagram. Have we ever heard such nonsense before in all of our born days that she's complained and told? I mean, there was the her co-star, wasn't there? He had to take some pictures down, but I mean, she was laying on the sofa with her legs akimbo, wasn't she? So I can sort of imagine her not really liking that one. I mean, oh, she got the craziest stare ever in it. In fact, I think I might use that picture. She's got this really crazy stare. I think I might use that one for the thumbnail, because she crazier than ever there. Whoa, she whooped up on something. It's in that tweed dress. She looks quite wide actually in that, and yet she looks so skinny in other things. I've no idea. So I mean, it's bollocks about Meghan one. So she willingly posed, and so did he, for photographs. She doesn't give a fuck about remembrance, so we can rule that one out. Chris and Kim were clearly happy enough with the photos. They put them up on Instagram. They were up the next day. But the next day is when they took them down. So something happened between the day after the party and the next day that both Kardashians took the pictures down. So that sounds to me like they got wind of something that happened at the party that they were unaware of during the party. They were equally unaware the following day. If they'd had a whiff of a problem, they wouldn't even have put the pictures up in the first place. Something happened between the day after and the next day to make them take those pictures down. Now, what could that be? Okay, hypothetically speaking, she might have been really, really bloody rude to a celebrity. Or Harry might. She might have been really bloody rude to staff serving drinks. She might have been dismissive or rude to someone very wealthy who isn't famous, who's got a lot of sway or is very close to the Kardashians. But something happened at that party. That is my firm belief. And that's why. And I don't think that they would have known about it at the time. It's more like a, like a debrief. If you have a wedding, let's sort of kind of equate it to that. Because when people have a big family wedding, it's sort of along the same lines, isn't it? All your family turn up in the days and weeks before, and you're talking about it, planning it. I bet they've been planning this for a long time. And then finally the day comes, you have a great time. And then in the days after, everybody's still talking about it. They're all in the kitchen with a cup of tea, having a fag, whatever. Saying, did you see what so-and-so wore? And oh, weren't the bridesmaids lovely? And you're sort of still living the moment. Kardashian kitchen with camera rolling, still living the moment. And then it's my belief someone phoned them up and said, I didn't want to spoil your party at the time, but I just wanted to let you know, da-da-da-da-da happened. Now, it must have been something that horrified them, quite frankly. And I think this is a pretty safe bet, what I'm saying here. I'm not saying I'm right, because, you know, I'm not one of those YouTubers who goes, oh yeah, I called it, oh, I'm so right, all my contacts are all the best. Because no one actually knows, do they? No one knows for sure. We haven't got a clue. We've got to go off photographs of them and compare articles and stuff. So I believe something happened at that party. Harry clearly did not look happy. He has not looked happy for a long time. This court case thing for him, this is a bloody nightmare. I was thinking about it last night. In fact, I was talking to, can't remember who I was talking to, and I was saying, you know, if it does turn out that Sherborne and anyone else, there only needs to be one other person, cooked up this fake statement and a forged signature, that's conspiracy. A conspiracy is very nasty from a legal point of view. If ultimately any sort of police investigation were to come out with this, then that you get all the charges of, you know, perjury, lying, perverting the course of justice and all that, and then the conspiracy element of it being added to it kind of doubles, trebles any sentence, and then there's no appeal against conspiracies. I don't know. I'll tell you who is an expert on that. Lord Archer. Ask Jeffrey Archer. Although I think I read his book and he said he conspired with himself. And I have actually known one other person who went to prison for allegedly, well, conspiring with themselves. So, I mean, that shit can actually happen. I'm not that familiar with the area of the law of conspiracy, but I remember back in the day, you know, lawyers always saying you never, ever, ever want that element added to charges. Never. Never, not in a million years. So I believe he's skint. I believe he's in debt. I believe, you know, on top of it, the world criticism, the pressure on this guy is phenomenal. And so I was talking to another friend last night. I was literally it was like 2:00 in the morning. I thought, I'm going to bed. And a friend messaged me about something which prompted me to search Prince Harry's name again while we were chatting about it. And lo and behold, an article in Radar Online came out saying he's leaving her. Yeah, you heard me right. Okay, firstly, Radar Online. Dodgy, to say the least, I suppose. But it is a bit of a go-to piece for Harry and Meghan. I mean, I had to read it 3 times to be sure. And we'll come to that. We'll go through that one in a minute together. He's taken the kids back to the UK. He's had enough. Fucker. I'm not going to put this in the title because, I mean, it's Radar Online. I don't know for sure, but this is the first time I've ever seen it leaked that he's taking the kids away. He's going back to the UK. Right, so let's go through this Radar article together, shall we? And I mean, I was messaging my friend, and it was literally seconds. I just said seconds before, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we see some headline. He's separating from her. He's sick of her. He's leaving her. He's had enough. I said, I can see in the lad's face. He's had enough. She is one piss taker. And lo and behold, I search and bing, up comes this article. Oh my God. Okay, so let's start with accepting the fact that Radar, where's my Radar Online gone? It's labelled as an exclusive. Exclusive, and it's written by Aaron Tinney. I think that's the same guy who printed the previous article. Exclusive. Prince Harry on a mission to bring his kids back to the UK for regular visits before King Charles' death. Well, it's Charles's birthday today, I believe. Happy birthday, Your Majesty. And usually Charles has several birthday parties, I think in various places, you know, maybe, oh, I can't remember the name of he's got a little place in Wales, hasn't he? I think he normally has one down there, one at Highgrove. He's bound to have an official one at Clarence House, you know. It goes on, because the monarch, they have their normal birthday, the day they were actually born. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, but there's always someone who asks me. I thought their birthday was in July. Well, they do the Trooping of the Colour in July because the weather's good, you know. So every monarch has that as an official birthday, but then they've got their own real birthday, and Charles is in November. Henpecked husband, Prince Harry, is risking his wife's wrath by pushing ahead with plans to bring his children back to the UK for regular visits before King Charles' health deteriorates further, even if it means putting his marriage at risk. Now, I'm reading a lot into this sentence. Henpecked, whoever the source is for this Aaron Tinney, to use a term like henpecked to me suggests he is pissed off. He is had enough. Regular visits, I seriously doubt that. I reckon one big permanent visit. Just one flight, you know, save the planet, less emissions. Let's just do one flight, kids. That's my feeling. RadarOnline.com can reveal the royal rebel is planning a secret return to his homeland over the Christmas period, even though he and Markle have not been invited to the royal family's traditional festive celebration at Sandringham. Insiders tell us he is hell-bent, is the quote. Well, I can imagine he's a hothead, isn't he? And he looked to me like he was positively fit to explode at that Kardashian thing. And I mean, whether this is all a, you know, a big PR thing for Meg and the Kardashians, I reckon she's cooked her goose on this one. She's really cooked her goose with him. He's sick of it all. Hell-bent on shift what aides describe as, another quote, years of negativity, end quote. So, henpecked, hell-bent, years of negativity. This is fed-upness, supreme, that have dominated his rare visits to his relatives since leaving the royal family in 2020. Despite saying publicly, now this is why I believe this is Harry, because I've criticised him for this before. He said to the BBC, you know, I'll never come back to the UK, didn't get my security back, oh, far too dangerous, I can't see myself ever bringing my... Well, he's addressing this in this article. Despite saying publicly he cannot envisage bringing Meghan, 44, or their children, Archie, Lily, to the UK due to his Home Office security dispute, insiders say he is now determined to change that. Quote, this is what he said to the BBC. I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point, and the things they're going to miss, well, everything. I miss the UK, Harry told BBC in May. But sources close to him, right, not the Sussexes, sources close to him say privately he has no intention of letting that remain the final word. One insider said, quote, Harry is on a mission. He won't accept that his children grow up never knowing their British family or where he came from. He's prepared to go against Meghan's wishes on this. He thinks these visits have to happen, and soon. Well, I know Christmas is 40 days away, apparently. Someone told me last night. 40 days to me ain't soon. And this is a hothead. I think we're going to see them in the UK quite soon. Whether he'll do it publicly or not, I don't know. So keep your eye out for AI fakes and masks of Harry and Photoshop jobs to make it look like he's still in Montecito and so in love. A second source. Now this guy, this is the same as the other week when I was reading Radar. This guy had said he had more than one source. This is a second source. Added, quote, Meghan wants to keep the children settled in California, but Harry feels time is running out with his father's illness. He believes the kids need a relationship with their grandfather while they still can. It's becoming a point of principle for him, and he is planning to visit his father around the Christmas period with his children, with or without Meghan in tow. The guy finally found his balls. After all these years, is my belief, finally Harry's little cojones that have been shriveled up somewhere suddenly grew. If this is true, I am going to buy a bottle of Cava, €2.89. I'm a big spender, and I will pop it live here on YouTube the day the guy says it's over. I'm sick of her. I am sick of her nonsense. I'm sick of her bullshit. That very day we shall toast to it. Since losing his battle for full... It's quite long for Radar. Normally their articles a little bit shorter, aren't they? Since losing his battle for full police protection in the UK, a case estimated to have cost him more than 1.3 million. Well, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what else he's... Harry has privately admitted public confrontation over the issue was, quote, not the wisest idea. Oh, these quotes are beauts, aren't they? They are absolute beauts. He will now pursue a quieter campaign, sources say. Well, yes, I can't criticise him for that. If he were to return to the UK, to live as a private citizen, I emphasise, with his children, firstly, he doesn't want to be discussing his security issues in public, so that any potential threat out there is getting clues or tips as to how to get near him, attack him and his children. Secondly, of course, discretion is the better part of valour or something, isn't it? If that's the case, Meghan ain't got no valour at all. She just a loud old slapper out there in the world, just like me. A friend said, so this is an insider, second source, now we've got a friend. I'm thinking most likely people like Guy Pelly, Lord Pisspot and all his mates from Eton. I'm thinking he's gone to his go-to boys and he said, I'm in the shitter, guys. How the hell do I get out of this? And between them, a friend said, there will be private lobbying behind the scenes. He's not giving up. He wants to bring his family back more regularly. Well, I dare say if he moved back to the UK, that's not the end of the article, actually. We haven't finished with this yet. If he were to come back to the UK with the children, I'm sure there's some little cottage somewhere which is already on an estate of some description where there's already existing security. So, he's not looking at asking them to fund security at a 16-bathroom mansion in Montecito where Madam's up to God knows what, God knows where, causing all sorts of security issues with 2-mile-an-hour police chases in New York, followed by a load of her pet paps. They'd be looking at a very different kind of bill. And I think Ravek might actually sit back and go, do you know what, the guy is actually at risk. And if the cost is not that good, because they've got a budget type thing, they've got to think. And it's not just the royal family, apparently, they cover. So I think he'd be looking at a very different situation. During his planned Christmas visits, this is Christmas, not the holiday season. So if Meghan isn't going to be with him, she's not going to spend Christmas with her husband and her own children. I say their own children, okay, to satisfy those who... I know what you think. During his planned Christmas visit, Harry also wants to reconnect with his old drinking buddies, source says. An insider, I don't know if this is yet another one, or an insider added, Harry misses sports and going down the pub with his mates. Meghan has stripped all that away from him, but he sees it as part of himself and his culture, and he will want a good drink up this Christmas with pals he has not seen in years. I hadn't actually noticed that paragraph before. See what I mean? I think this is Guy Pelly, etc. And I forget the other, that he's got some very well-known friends. I think this is the lads. I think this is his old mates. I don't think William's up for helping him at all. Probably not speaking to him at all. He had that iced tea with his father, didn't he? So that was quite difficult after months. But I think his old buddies I think they're, you know, they were probably the first to warn him and say, Harry, don't fucking do this. And I told you yesterday, I'd heard somewhere else, I can't remember where, someone had said his old school friends and his old buddies are there in the background in case he does anything silly. He's got their number, he can phone them in an act of desperation. Harry recently met King Charles 76 for tea. Their face-to-face lasted less than an hour and marked their first meeting in 2 years. But a source, and again, this is very much a Harry article, a source said things were still, quote, pretty chilly, unquote, between the pair. That sounds like a Harry quote. I've read Harry's book, and it's full of very, very short sentences. I know it was written by a ghostwriter, but Harry probably dictated it. He phrases things sort of, woke up, got out of bed, cleaned teeth, made tea, went for a walk. You know, he has that kind of style. There's probably a name for it. So, how's your dad? How's things with your dad? Pretty chilly. I can imagine. That's a Harry quote, in my opinion. In my ignorant opinion. Although actually, I've been stalking him now for 6 years. So that's probably degree, masters and bachelors, PhD. I'm a doctor of Harry Windsor. They added, quote, again, Harry has a long way to go to rebuild trust with his father after he published his memoir and rubbished the royal family in his Netflix documentary and Oprah Winfrey. But he thinks taking his kids to see Charles at Christmas will be a massive way to start to make amends, as the king has not had a relationship with that set of his grandchildren, unquote. And also he's going to go out on the piss around the Cotswolds with his old buddies, and he's going to have the best time of his life that he's had in 6 long, hellish years living with a narcissistic freak. I truly believe in this article. You can tell, can't you? It could be bollocks. I've got to add that caveat because I don't know. It's just my sensation, my feeling. This has come from Harry. He's sick of her. Harry made his feelings clear about his family in his BBC interview after losing his security case. And then, you know, there's that quote again. Those close to Harry insist, I mean, those close, we've had an insider, a second source, a family friend, of mates of his. Now, those close, you know, this is a lot. This is a group of people. Those close to Harry insist he is now, quote, future focused, unquote, after years of legal battles and the fallout from his memoirs spare. Another source, well, it says a source said, he's focused on making sure his kids don't lose their connection to the UK, and he won't let anyone stand in the way of that, not even his wife, no matter what the consequences that has for their marriage, unquote. Well, it's Friday today. I might go live later so we can all discuss and rip the shreds out of this thing. But I mean, it's kind of fascinating, isn't it? I actually believe it. He's had enough of her. I might put in the title, actually, Harry's leaving Meghan. Harry dumps Meghan. Meghan lied. I mean, there's so much. Oh, and there was something else on my list. The betting community. They're running odds on all this. There was some gossip magazine last night I saw. So I thought I'd check with Google and Yahoo and stuff, and there's odds. Meghan and Harry to split up, 150 to 1. Not that I'm encouraging or condoning gambling. I don't like gambling. It's very bad. Very bad. But I just thought I'd tell you these odds. Meghan and Harry to divorce, 300 to 1. Meghan to release royal memoir, minus 110. I'm thinking these that's how they're doing the odds. So yeah, I checked it in the betting community, but I don't actually know where you put a bet on something unusual like this. Like some people put a bet on, will it snow in England for Christmas? And I think the qualification is there has to be a certain level of snow on the roof of something like the post office building in London. I don't know where you'd even put a bet on about that. I'm not a betting woman, but I mean, if there are long odds on that, shows the bookies don't know Meghan and Harry as well as we know Meghan and Harry. And I think the odds would be a lot smaller than that. But you never know. If it were a 350 to 1 that he's going to dump the bitch. And I've always said it will be the Windsor doing the dumping. It always is. It always is. They're a very, very, very powerful family. They're a very highly thought of family all over the world. Meghan couldn't have shat on... Well, actually, she could. She could have shat on the Kardashians. Well, I'm sure there'll be more to come on that front. These are just my theories and opinions, guys. As I say, I'm not going to ever say to you, this is fact. I don't have any sources. Nobody phones me up. Nobody tells me anything. I've got to go by what I see with my eyes and my own ears and try not to be gaslit like the rest of the world, being sold this nonsense story that it was Markle. It was Markle who insisted on having the picture. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. Oh. Thank you very much for listening. I cannot wait to see your thoughts, opinions, comments. I think we will go live, if not tonight, over the weekend, because I think you're about to see some action. I really do. I mean, he might cave in. I don't think so. He's a bit of a hothead, isn't he? You know, once he's made his mind up, there's no talking to him, as we all know better than anybody, probably. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and may your God be with you.